Hello,
Hello.
good afternoon, and welcome to the show, Faye's Angels. Thank you for joining me. My name is Faye Garza, and I'm doing two things at once here, so please forgive me. Um, I, I am so happy to have with me today Reverend Nancy Lee. Um, but first of all, I just would like to tell you a little bit about my show. It is Faye's Angels is an interactive show that is spun off from our two other shows that I co-host with my husband, Roger Garza Sr., who is a well-known psychic medium. My goal for the show, Faye's Angels, is to provide to my viewers guests who bring helpful inspiration and motivational information. This is my opportunity to share with viewers my own journey so that they can explore with me topics about anything paranormal, extraterrestrial, maybe meditation, anything spiritual, and more. Also, just look to us for our other two shows, but we'll talk about that later in the show. And already we have Kelly Durant. Hello, Kelly. Uh, I'm so glad you joined us this afternoon. We have again my special guest and Marie Taylor. Wow, welcome. Our show. Welcome to our show. Our guest is Nancy Robinson. Reverend Nancy is a psychic medium and an international certified pranic healer. Um, she has many unique uh, gifts, and we'll talk about that. She has many credentials. She has a lot of experience in helping many people for a long time, and she is a good friend of mine, and I am so proud and happy to have her on my show. So, hello, everyone. I just want to say hello. Hello, Nancy. I'm
Hello.
going.
So
I'm going to
glad
give
to
a
be here with you.
I am so happy you're here. I want to give a shout out and hello to Kelly, to Marie, to Dawn. And Dawn says that good evening from soggy Cornwall. Mary, Ed- Mary Eder, Polly Miller, Teresa Dobbs, Mary Erickson. And
Hi,
already
Teresa.
it's it is wonderful to have you here so far. Please share and like the show and tell your friends and family. They may find something that is unique and helpful to them and inspirational. Thank you, Mary, for already sharing in the show. So I wanted to. Nancy and I were chatting just before the show, and before every show I have, and here comes Roger. He wants to say hello. So here we go. Say hello, Roger.
Hello,
Hi,
Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, he's the
He's like
reason
a
this.
little Muppet that pops in.
Yeah, little Muppet. He's my little Muppet. He keeps me laughing a lot.
Yes, he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, he helps me not take myself too seriously, although I really don't. I kind of am amazed that people want to listen to what I have to say, but really it's not me who has a lot to say. I feel like my guests have a lot to say, but I was just
No,
telling Nancy that before the show and like many of my shows, I pull angel cards. And this is like, I have many in the pack. I have many cards in my pack, of course. And it seems like I pull this uh, card quite a bit. And here's the pack of angel cards. It's
those are
by,
beautiful.
I know, they're beautiful. I don't know where the cover is, but it's about Archangel Uriel. And I'm going to read it to you because I think we can spin off our talk a little bit from that. Archangel Uriel works on the ruby ray, which is made up of purple and gold. It is the ray of wisdom and spirituality. You are blessed to attract this angel card, for he will bring you serenity, love, tranquility, and peace. You, in your turn, are invited to spread these beautiful qualities to others. Connecting with Archangel Uriel will enable you to aspire to oneness with all humanity. This is a high state of grace which will bring you freedom and joy. Visualize yourself in a purple and golden cloak and invoke Archangel Uriel's help to raise your consciousness. I am one with everyone in peace and serenity. And by the way, I also have as a gift for my husband, he gave me this
Oh, how beautiful.
beautiful. This is Archangel Uriel, and he
That's
can
beautiful.
on top of many beautiful uh, buildings all over the world.
Mhm.
I didn't even know about him until started to pull his card all the time. I started to run into him a lot. He's with me all the time. Tanya is here. I'm glad to see you too, Tanya. She's my daughter,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I kind of twisted her arm to get on the show tonight because she was doing some other stuff. But I'm glad you joined us. Thank you, honey. But anyway, I thought that was, Nancy, you suggested me starting the show off with that because
Yes.
it starts the whole discussion, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But I want to tell you something, and I wasn't aware of this till I took some studies, that each spiritual like a church or any spiritual center, has an assigned angel to it, and it usually resides right above the church or the spiritual center and things like that, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
And so, because I can see spirit, so when I found out about that, I started looking in every church or every spiritual center or whatever I went to, I could see the angels. And so it's pretty interesting. And each of us, for other information about angels, we have our own designated healing angel. So if you're suffering from anything and you're wanting to have some healing, ask your designated healing angel to come forth and help you heal. And that's very comforting. You will feel the energy come around you when you do that. But starting off with Ariel, it talked about being one.
Hmm.
We're all one. And like I was telling Faye earlier, if God is the sun, we each one of them are each one of us is a sun ray. We're
Hmm.
an individual expression of the divine source. When we come here on earth, we have spiritual amnesia. As a
Right.
human, we forget that we are spiritual beings with a physical body, having a physical experience. Now, some people say, well, why would lots of times they'll say, well, why would God let a child be born with, crippled, or, why would God let
Bad
somebody
things.
experience bad things?
Hmm.
You have to remember that as an individual expression of God, if we remained who we are all that is. We're one and connected with God. But as we come to earth, we came here to experience different things. So, different emotions, different
Right.
experiences. So, my niece, my oldest brother's child, was born with a cancerous brain tumor. And at 4 weeks old, she had a brain surgery, and they found the tumor because it was growing out instead of in.
Hmm.
Most children that are born with that type of tumor, the tumor would grow in and they wouldn't live. But she lived. She lived till she was 32. Now, she didn't walk, she didn't talk, she was severely handicapped. But I will tell you that that beautiful child was so magnificently loving, and unconditional love oozed out of this child.
Hmm.
And my brother became this wonderful father.
Mm-hmm.
to this child, which I don't know that that would have happened had he not have this daughter.
Mm-hmm. I hear
And
that a lot.
it really grew that
Mm-hmm.
parents and the other children, and she was just an amazing little being, you
Right.
know, because having that handicap, she could just be herself.
Right.
She wasn't influenced by things that we're influenced by.
Correct. All that stuff that we deal with. I mean, yes, I think I could think of three. I have a niece who has a son with a very unusual condition. It's called uh, Phelan McDermott syndrome, and it has to do with his 22nd chromosome, and there's something going on with that. Well, he had too. There's only 3,500 people in the whole world who have this condition. And like you're saying, they are brought to this world into a family um, where my niece and her husband are the most amazing people who are taking care of him. They call him Kit. He's now, I don't know, I think he's 30 or something, but he's full of love. He's taught us all many lessons, and every one of us is a gift as well. I mean, if we just kind of have to remember that everybody doesn't have to be completely beautiful and talented and gifted and well, I mean, we all bring gifts to this existence,
And
and this
sometimes it's, yeah, go ahead, honey. I'm sorry. I didn't
well,
mean
that's
to
okay. I
interrupt.
mean, what I saw the transformation in Kit's parents, my niece and her husband. They were, typical teenagers, then fell in love and then got married early. And here is their son. Well, they got their act together and now they're very young, being retired, living in Florida, and they
Mm-hmm.
do what they want to do. They take care of their son and have another son, and it's just they're beautiful people. And I learned from them. It's funny how we learn from our children.
Yes.
And
And each person, we all have sacred contracts with anybody who is in our lives, more than just a passing, hello or whatever.
right,
Anybody that we're connected to, there is a special reason for them to be in our lives,
right,
whether it's to teach us something, to help us with something, or just for us to have a friend, or just have an acquaintance, or just have a laugh. I mean, I was talking to somebody in the grocery store the other day, and we had such a good laugh, and just
yeah,
that moment, that
right,
person needed a laugh, or I needed a laugh. Who
right,
knows? We don't have to always attach such heavy meaning into it. Well, why did this happen and why did that happen? Just
true,
to know. And if you keep it in your mind that everything is in divine and perfect order always. Now, that doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen to you. I've been through my bad part of my life. The first part of my life when I was 35 was not easy because I married a man who was an alcoholic and he beat on me, and it was icky, you
hmm,
know, but it grew me
hmm,
completely. I mean, I really grew through this. It was very uncomfortable at the time. It was horrible, but I don't stay attached to that. Now, that's what the we have to understand. We're all one. We came from the divine source. We are, as we ascend or grow spiritually, we're going to back to reuniting ourselves or remembering that we're a divine source,
yeah,
that we are powerful, beautiful, amazing souls, and we have a lot more power than we give ourselves. The only real energy, the only real emotion, real, I'm talking, is love.
right,
That's it. There's nothing else. The rest of it, any fear, any anger, any pain, any sorrow, any of that stuff isn't really real. Although we have painful experiences, but if we release it and not hang on to it,
Right.
then we go towards the vibration of love and we start getting into a flow of life.
I heard
That,
somewhere, okay,
go
well,
ahead.
when you're talking about love, that is just the real is it emotion
Hmm.
that I was watching somebody else, or I was on a show last night with somebody else, and they were talking about really love is on the other side. When we are on the other side, deciding where we want to go on Earth, all there is love, and so that is why, if we just stayed on the other side, we would not have any knowledge about any of the other things that happen to make us learn to learn the lessons. It's our when we're on this other side, ex
That's right.
have experiencing all this love, for some reason, we want to experience life here, because to make ourselves more complete. I don't know, Nancy, maybe you can help me out with
It's to
that.
gain knowledge and wisdom.
Okay,
If we're all that we are, if we come from all that we are, that we're everything. Okay. So if we just stay there, we don't have any other experiences
right.
because that's it. That's all you're going to experience. You won't have. So, our particular part of the divine soul decides, well, I want to go and have other experiences. Okay. And some of them aren't great experience. Some of
Right.
them decide, well, I'm going to be, you know, a thug or, you know,
A
uh,
dictator, or
yeah, exactly. Or somebody that has a kind of a dark side.
right.
But, and then uh, that's what they are. They wanted to experience. Okay.
Mhm.
But, and then as you go through these different dimensions of yourself or lifetimes or whatever you want to call them, you grow each time spiritually.
Mhm.
So, like, okay, let's say I was a farm a slave on a farm, on a plantation. Okay. I had that experience, but I learned to go within myself at that time. And I learned to find the peace. I learned to find my own power. Even though I was enslaved, I found somewhere within me that peace and power that actually vibrated at a higher vibration and then set me free. Okay, so then the next time around I come to Earth or wherever I go, um, I come in at that level of where I found peace. I don't go back in from the beginning. So
Mm,
each experience that you
experience.
have, you
Mhm.
grow to this part. Okay. Now you come back into life, you're at this part, and you grow higher if you so desire. Now that's where choice comes in. We have what is choice on or free will on
Yeah,
this earth plane or anywhere we go. I mean, if you believe in other planets, wherever, you
right.
still have free will. Mostly. There are planets that do not have, or
So you
dimensions that do not have free will.
so we're ha so, I mean, I know I'm really maybe going to another spot in discussion, but we talk about spirit guides. Are spirit guides formerly us on Earth? Is it, us being our spirit guides, are those beings that have been on Earth learning the lessons and finally getting
Well,
to a point.
sometimes they are, and times they're not. Sometimes they're, a soulmate or a twin soul that remains on the other side
Hmm,
and helps guide us. We have our own, all of us have our own guardian angel. Okay.
right.
Sometimes we have more than one guardian angel. We start off with one, and then grandma dies and she wants to be a guardian angel. So lots of times you have teams of angels or guides or whatever. And sometimes when you develop higher, then you get new ones, or you have a new one that wants to come in, and because you already reached the height that you were supposed to go to, and you decide, I want to go higher. And in your spiritual and your soul contract, there's a way, in some way, you went with your guide or your higher person that's with you, being that's with you, and you decided, maybe in dream state or even in meditation state, that you want to go higher, and maybe you fulfilled your contract. Sometimes when you fulfill your contract, you leave the earth.
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't. Now, in my own experience, I went to a healer and I felt like I was chained down and I couldn't do anymore. And I had a healer who does quantum healing, and he got in contact, and I rewrote my soul contract so I could do more, because I already
hmm,
accomplished everything in that soul contract and did not want to leave earth,
I see.
because
Wow.
I wanted to do more for
Wow.
myself and humanity.
Well, you
So
certainly
it
are. You
so
cer-
that's there's all different kinds of nooks and crannies with this soul contract,
Mhm.
but you have a soul contract that is your destiny.
And
And
that
that
soul
is,
is forever. Your soul is you all the time. You haven't, it's
yep,
with you. This is it.
you
That's
never
all you are.
you never die.
Right.
That soul is who you are when you leave her here or go to some other dimension or wherever.
And we might
And
be
that
a
is your
man,
soul.
woman,
That
or
is Nancy Robinson's soul that she decided to inhabit.
right.
My particle. I'm this Nancy Robinson sunray. You're the Faye sunray.
Wow.
Okay?
Everybody here. I want to shout out to some more people who have joined us later on here.
Okay?
Kathy Hanley. I think you know Kathy now, right?
Yes.
Nancy, I think she's seen you. Herbie's here and Carol is here. Dolly is here. Jane is here. I think we've said here hello to Mary Erickson. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing the show. And it is my complete pleasure that Nancy has said again that she'd be on our show, because it seemed like last time we were talking about many of these things. But of course, you never have enough time to talk about them. There's so much to learn about. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm currently reading a book called Afterlife. I hope to have the author on. I am going to have the author on my show at the end of February. It is
Wonderful.
an incredible book. I don't know if you've ever read it, but maybe it just
Who's the
seems.
author?
His last name is. Oh my gosh! Why do you now? You okay? I'm going to tell you. I'll look at something right here. Uh, uh, the author is Stephen Chong. Chong. He's from
Okay.
Australia,
Oh, how
and
wonderful.
and I saw him on another show, and I contacted him saying what his book. I won't go into big great detail because we have a lot to talk about. It talks about afterlife, and he did not experience afterlife himself. He did not have a near death experience himself, but he uh, channeled. He somehow channeled the experience of after
Mhm.
death, and he
Mhm.
brings uh, I don't know if it depicts. Everybody has a different after death experience. They have the same but different. But what he brings to life is like listening to each page goes very quickly. It is very descriptive. It is awesome. It makes your brain grow. Everything is amazing. So I am excited about that too. But
Oh, I'm excited. I'll have to try
take
to
a look.
tune in for that one.
Awesome. Keisha is
to
here
listen.
today. So good to see you, Keisha. I'm glad you were able to join us. And Dawn is from Cornwall. She said before she says pretty much her beliefs, she's in thank you. Very well explained.
Thank you,
She says,
Dawn.
yeah. Um, I've learned a
So,
lot from Dawn myself. Yeah.
yeah,
She has a
good.
lot. Yeah. She has a lot. She's on some of the other shows we watched together.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
yeah. We got to know each other. Well, Paul Francis is uh, a psychic medium from the UK too, and I kind of got to know Dawn from listening to Paul. Paul has been very influential and has been my mentor really a
Well,
lot.
wonderful.
So
That is so
besides my
great.
husband, yeah, besides
Yeah.
my own husband, but and uh yeah, they kind of shoved me into this, and
I was
I
just
feel
going to say, they kind of just threw you in there, didn't they?
they really
Threw you into the ring.
they did really throw me into the deep end, and I thought, okay, if you think I should, then let's give it a whirl. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm kind of loving every second of it because,
And I think you're a wonderful host, by the way.
oh my
I
gosh,
think
thank you.
you're amazing. I
Wow.
think you're pretty amazing anyway. So,
Well, you might be a little prejudiced because you knew me before in the
but it
choir.
doesn't matter. I still think you're
Okay.
pretty amazing.
Well, thank you. It's the feeling
I'm
is
so
mutual.
grateful we got reconnected.
Oh gosh, I know. I know. It's too bad we live in opposite places, but that's okay. I'm gonna make figure out how to come see you.
No,
But
please do.
uh, Reverend Nancy, her credentials, I just want to list them because maybe this will make help trigger some questions from people who are watching. I don't want to. I want to cover stuff that you guys are interested in knowing. Her credentials, she is an ordained reverend, and she is a reverend at the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light in Sarasota, Florida. She is certified in ministerial training. She has a mediumship certification. Um, she's a global certified pranic healer, a certified in all advanced pranic healing classes, extensive study with Abraham Hicks, uh, it, maybe you can talk about that a little bit. I don't know.
Sure.
She just has had a lot of. She does sessions as well. I mean, her services include, and I'm going to just put her. I'm going to put your contact information up because if anybody wants to take a look at uh, what what her services are, they're rather, and you offer these services through Zoom or through, is it Facebook Messenger? How do you can do
Through
that?
Zoom and on the phone and
Hmm.
also personal.
Okay.
So if someone's around.
Right.
So if you look at my website and it's down for a minute, this morning we were just changing some domain stuff on it. So
Okay.
just keep looking if you don't get it right away, because we had to change the domain stuff on my website this morning.
Wow.
So
I was able to get
hopefully
into
that
it.
will be okay.
I think it is okay
So,
because I got into it, Nancy,
oh, did
because
you? Okay.
I wanted to list what your services were.
Okay.
Your in services are intuitive readings, of course, psychic readings where you help people connect with uh, spirit guides. Am I guessing correctly?
Spirit
And,
guides, loved ones, teachers, masters, gurus that you may have. Yeah, all of the above.
and
Angels,
pranic
archangels.
energy healing, pranic energy
Yeah,
healing,
it's energy healing. Hmm.
healing the uh, inner child clearing. Oh no, healing the inner child, aura and chakra healing, clearing. Sorry, guys. Restorative release, past life regressions, which is way fascinating to me. Crystal relaxation treatment, um, healing head massage. Why don't we live closer? Uh, and group intuitive reading. So do you handle that? Like,
Yes, I do. I can do groups. I can even do them like on Zoom if everybody if people are apart, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a party, a bunch of, or a group of people. They might have a little party at their house, or they have, on Zoom. They can come on Zoom, and it's, each person I give a little, um, you know, 15-minute reading to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
So
just wanted to put that up there for people, and we'll put it up again later on in the show. But I mean, uh, her gifts and her services are a lot. So I just wanted to let people know what we have. Um, Dawn says, "Ooh, I've been regressed a few times. Fascinating stuff." And she's read most of
yeah,
Dolores Cannon's books. So we
Dolores
were talking.
Cannon's the
Mhm.
master of hypnotic past life regression. So, and that's pretty special. I mean, she's one of my favorite people to listen to on YouTube and things. And I've sent Faye a few things
You
because I
have?
like to share with her. And she's amazing, the information that she has in her books and in the talks that she does. She is no longer alive, but some of her stuff is just still so amazing and fascinating,
It really is.
talking about past lives. And when we go down that avenue, lots of times when you go into another lifetime, or even a, a, a ancestral line that we have, and maybe somebody in that ancestral line was horribly abused, and that is still connected to your energy because it comes through the DNA,
Wow.
then sometimes if we go back and help that expression of that person or a past life that we lived, if we help that expression that's still in us,
Mhm.
then if you heal that, then you heal in this lifetime. So, like if um, somebody was shackled in a lifetime, and then you come into this lifetime, and it comes through it's a ancestral a person from your ancestors,
Mhm.
and sometimes that energy will show up in your DNA, and you become something happens to where you were shackled, where they were shackled, it happens to your legs, right? And
Mhm.
once you go back in time, as Dolores Cannon has done with hypnosis, they heal that past life, and then they become healed in the present. So
That
it's
is so cool.
clearing those energies from ancestors or past lifetimes that actually make you clear, because that's an energy that was carried through your blood, your DNA, whatever.
A kind of an interesting question.
I
So
am
Tanya,
not sure, Tanya, if she was a student of Parhansa Yogananda. The one thing that, if anybody's on their spiritual path, and when I was in pranic healing, they told us to read the biography of a yogin, and that's about Paramahansa Yogananda's experience. And then there's a little book that I let me see if I have that sitting here. I did. Oh yes, there's this little book, Scientific Healing Affirmations, and this is Paramahansa Yogananda's book. And I got this one used online, and I think I paid $1 or something for it. Okay,
wow,
this is an amazing book that it has wonderful affirmations in it. Can you guys read that
I
and
can.
see it? Okay,
Scientific healing.
Scientific Healing Affirmations, and it's by Paramahansa Yogananda. And it's got some amazing affirmations for psychological success, affirmations for material success. That I've used that uh, for uh, manifesting things. And there's other affirmations for spiritual success. And when we use affirmations, so the thing about using affirmations is that once we clear something that's not working for us, okay, like a pattern that keeps working or
Mm-hmm.
that keeps reappearing,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yep.
like a pattern might be that you keep having the same kind of person turn up in your life that you keep having to bail out, okay, and so and you don't want that kind of person to, and you do forgiveness and you do clearing, and that energy of that pattern is gone, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have, okay, there we go. All energy orbits, okay, so it's going around and around in a circle, even your cells, your atoms, they all orbit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
once you've knocked a pattern out, you've taken an energy, a healing or forgiveness or whatever it is that you've done, you've knocked it out of its pattern. It's not orbiting anymore. But what do you get? You get a void.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't refill that void with positive affirmations or something positive, it will fill back up with an old energy.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why it's very, very positive, very, very good to do positive affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
affirming that you're one with God, and affirming that you are successful. That I'll just read a little bit of this for you. Uh, okay. Affirmation for spiritual success. Thou art wisdom, and thou dost know the cause and the end of all things. I am thy child. I want to know life's true mystery, life's true joyous duty. Thy wisdom in me shall show all things that thou dost know, that thou dost know. Okay, and it goes on, but it's like I am brave, I am strong, I am one with God, I am this.
She
Oh, that's
says
wonderful. She's reading the autobiography of a
she's
yogi
reading,
now.
and so yeah, so many of the things that she's believed already, intuitively known for nearly 3 decades, so inspirational. And isn't that true what happens to us when we are reading and we are learning? Isn't it for me, I always go, I kind of knew that. It's like when I'm reading different things of in
Okay.
my own
So
journey,
what
it's like,
happens is you
hi
go
Lori,
along
hi
in
Julie.
life, you go
Sorry.
along in life and you're at a certain vibration. And everything that's in that vibration of knowledge will come to you at that when you're aligned with that vibration. So
Okay.
you are aligning to something that, like, um, I, I just happen to have this sitting here today, and we're talking about autobiography of a yogi. Okay, why would I have this sitting here? It's usually not sitting here at my
I know.
desk,
I
but
know.
it is because that's a vibration that we lined up way ahead of time,
I never
and
never
so
knew. I
it's
didn't really
like,
know what we were going to talk about, tell you the truth.
yeah, we don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't
Mm-mm.
know what I'm going to talk about when I do my services on Sunday.
Right.
Sometimes not till the moment I go into the church, then they'll say a word to me. And then I
Okay.
just say the prayer and spirit pours out of me and they give this amazing sermon and I'm like, man, that was good. you know?
Just like right now. Just like right
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
yeah.
the discussion is awesome. I mean, I'm hoping that everybody else likes it too, and I think it seems like they do. They're all here and they're still listening. So,
They're still here.
they're still here. Yeah, it must
so
resonate. So, I mean,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
So
Thank
this
you
is how
for
it
those questions,
works.
Tanya. Thank you for those questions. I mean, uh, yeah, Tanya's going through a bit of work right now. I mean, as so is everyone here that is viewing. I'm sure we all,
Anybody that is
yeah,
tuned
anybody,
in.
everybody that tunes in, we all have a story, and
Mhm.
we all have a journey, and that's the whole purpose of this show. Is like, how can
Uh-huh.
we help? How can I help you? And I just love that. I love the affirmation. Filling that void with powerful affirmations is a key to not continually repeat the patterns of that was maybe destructive
So
in us.
energetically, or on a physical level, when you have a program, a negative program or a positive one, the lines in the brain, there's crevices in the brain.
Yeah.
Well, they form a crevice in our brain, our belief system, our programming, whatever. So when you change your vibration, when you change your thought processes, it changes the crevices in the brain.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is
I
so
love it.
cool. Uh, uh,
I
uh,
know.
wow. Hi, Lori. Hi, Julie. Hi, Maria. Hi, and Carol. And so, two questions I'd like to try to cover. Dawn
Okay.
says, Dawn says, do you talk about what's going on in the world in your sermons?
In a way, I do, Dawn. Not necessarily the physical things. I talk about the vibrational shifts because right now there is such a high vibrational energy that's coming in. We have more gamma rays coming on Earth than we ever have before. Gamma rays is where it's a very high vibration, and that's where if you're channeling something, you're usually connected to a gamma ray. You're connected to gamma energies, and
Okay.
that's what flows. So we're having more gamma rays coming in on Earth than we ever did before. That's why we're calling this, and it's just more noticeable since 2020. That's why we're calling this the Great Awakening.
Okay.
The Great Awakening is the higher vibrational frequencies that are coming to Earth, and people like myself and Faye and all of you here, anybody who is on their spiritual path, are anchoring these higher vibrations into the earth and holding it. So we're the light bearers. And people will come and say to me, what is your purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Sometimes it's just enough to hold love or to hold the light. That's all you have to do. We make it we as humans have this thought process that we have to have this profound purpose and that we
Mm-hmm.
have to do this or that. Whatever really makes your heart sing, whatever really is your deepest, most desire, there's your purpose. You can't get away from your purpose. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
recognize what it is that really, and some people it's just to play the piano, some people it's just to be a mother, some people it's to be a spiritual leader, some people it's just to be the facilitating, like Faye, facilitating that spiritual things come to the public or to people, and
Mm-hmm.
at the right and divine time. And
Mm-hmm.
that makes her heart sing that she does that.
It's
She's
true.
so
Thank you.
happy to do it, you know? And
It's
for me,
true.
I'm so happy when I'm able to help somebody recognize their true, authentic self.
One of the things on my list is the first thing I wrote on January 2. These are not resolutions, really,
No,
but
they're not.
it's just find authentic self. It's just find it. I mean,
And you
I can,
can't get away from it. You have to live it.
yes,
How we get from one reality to another reality is just shifting your consciousness. That's it. How we get from one vibration to another vibration is to live what we
are
really are,
right.
is to be yourself. We've been programmed in our societies that you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too
Yeah,
that, you're inadequate,
right.
and all of that is false.
Just, yeah. So let me just add what Dawn says, and then I'm going to go to some more questions if we can, Nancy. Dawn says, yes, I make organite, so understand cleansing the energies so that those energies can come in and amplify. That's
Yes.
cool. Thank you.
So, was there something else you wanted to?
There's and she says also that's my happy place to channel creations. There's more questions here.
Okay.
Carol says she just purchased scientific healing affirmations.
Ha ha! Yay!
And here's a question. And I just want to, before I go to that, oh, I can't. I'm going to do it in order. So, Nancy, question: how can I meet guides?
Your guides?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
you can go to a medium like myself and it'll help you meet your guides, but mostly all you have to do is ask. You know the saying, ask and it is given? That is for all things in the universe. Most of us, Maria, feel like we're not connected maybe to our guides, or we haven't met our guides, or maybe we don't have the psychic ability to do it. That's not true. Okay. Get very, very quiet. And lots of times it helps to just ask. I need to see my guides. I want to know my guides, or feel my guides, or sense my guides, and get a piece of paper and a pen and do automatic handwriting.
Wow.
Lots of times the energy will come through and you'll feel something and just write it down. Okay. It takes a little practice sometimes, but you really can just ask. I'd like to see my guides. I want to know who it is. Like I have a professor guide, I have this amazing healer guide, and things like that. And sometimes they change up. Like I say, I have a new guide that comes in. I'm not, and I don't get caught up on names.
Okay.
Half the time, they're real names you couldn't pronounce anyway because they're at such a high vibration.
Okay.
So don't get, oh, somebody says, oh, what is my guide's name? Well, sometimes if I don't get it, I don't get it. Just know that's your guide. You
Yeah.
know,
Wow.
don't get so caught up. We get too caught up in the physical understanding of things. The world and the energies are the frequencies that are coming in, that we can't wrap our head around everything that's really happening. There's no way. Just
Yeah.
like we don't understand completely all of this stuff. And now, just recently, as of last year Easter, I started being able to tap into different dimensions of my own self
Wow.
and realize that we're multidimensional beings. And now I'm starting to see those different dimensions of other people. But it's a growth process. And I had a hard time wrapping myself around that everything's happening at once, because we're human. We don't
Right.
think like that. We have time, and we have certain
Hmm.
limitations
Right.
as to really understanding.
Do you know what my problem is? I
What's
get
that?
I get tired and hungry. You know, w- I mean, I just get tired and I just can't take it anymore. There's that.
Uh-huh.
There's that too.
Yeah,
Our human
exactly.
our human existence can maybe only, I feel like when I'm taking in this information, the brain is absorbing, and then, maybe blows out, I don't know, maybe half of the stuff I just read, but then there are some things that came through, but it
You
makes me
don't
real.
realize lots of times, Faye, how much you have absorbed, and it's a process. So you
Mhm.
may hear some interesting thing, like, saying the affirmations of fill the
Right.
void.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're going to remember that one. But then I'll say something and you don't remember it until it's lined up with what you need to remember.
Right, you're right.
Because with me, I studied for 10 years with
Sure.
pranic healing,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And not until I started doing sermons and speaking about spiritual awakening and thing did I even remember half the stuff that I learned. And then all of a sudden it's there.
It's
So
there.
you got to think also of intelligence. We have divine power, which is will, divine will, God's will. We have divine love, which is unconditional love, where we came from originally. And then we have divine intelligence. So, intelligence, as we've been taught as a human being, is a linear thing. First grade, second grade, third grade, da 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 da. Okay. But if you think of a 4-year old who sits down and plays Mozart, it isn't explained in that linear intelligence, is it?
Hmm.
Because intelligence is all encompassing. So there's layers, vibrations of intelligence. Okay. So that's like Einstein, he tapped into a higher vibrational frequency of intelligence. Therefore, he brings all this stuff in and does all, and what's
And a
that
lot of
guy?
people don't understand
Tesla.
it,
Yeah.
you know, and until
Tesla.
now. Yeah.
But they have a certain timeline which they came in on to bring that kind of intelligence to Earth. And then there's a process of absorbing it into the human
Yeah. Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah.
So you're absorbing right now, and you think, oh, I can't uh, possibly absorb all this stuff. Well, you absorb more than you think you do because your higher soul is absorbing that. Just like when people meditate and they say, oh, well, I can't meditate, I can't keep my mind still.
Right.
Just sit there. If you can't keep your mind still and you have monkey mind, which I call, and sometimes I still do, and I'm a seasoned meditator where I just can't stand to sit through this meditation. I want to
Yeah.
jump out of the chair.
Right.
But tweak your nose and bring your intelligence or your attention right back to center again. And that
That's
helps a lot.
Yeah.
But don't start off doing. I'll get with your
Yeah.
quote here,
I
Holly.
don't mean to distract you. I just wanted to put it up there. So,
That's okay.
okay.
But that when you get to the frequency that you need that information that's already been soaked in by the higher soul, it'll come. It'll be right there for you. So don't
That
worry
was kind of
about.
like, I remember I was terrible at algebra in high school. And then I started working my real job out of high school. And for some reason, the theory, or the whatever that's called, uh, came back to me to help me with, if this is that, then this is that.
Yeah,
And somebody said,
see,
"Well, how how did you figure that out?" I said, "I don't know. It was like ninth grade algebra, and I hated algebra, but it's
I
like
know,
that. It's like that. It
but
comes
it's
to you."
soaked in, didn't it?
Yeah, it's soaked
And
in, and
when
I
you
didn't
needed
realize it.
it, it was there.
Right.
Because think of you standing in the middle of a circle. That's where the intelligence is, this big circle of intelligence. And then you're standing in the middle and you can pull from wherever. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
also, that goes like if somebody invents something and they invent this wonderful thing and they have this wonderful idea, and halfway across the world, somebody did the same thing.
Right. Which
because they're
happens.
pulling through this collective divine intelligence.
That's
So
interesting.
also, like tonight, we're at the same vibration, and we come up and we talk about Par,
Yes.
Parananda Yogananda, okay?
Yes.
Because it was something
Which is
that
a little
needed to be
obscure in a
crossed.
way. It's like,
Yes,
was it?
because who thought I would talk about that? I haven't talked about it in a long time.
Yeah,
And
that's
why I had
great.
it sitting at my desk, because I was looking at an affirmation the other day, and I was like,
Yeah,
uh, and it's still sitting there. Okay.
I love
You
that.
see,
Okay.
Polly, I am
Yeah, probably.
working on raising my vibration. Is there a good way to ease up resistance? I'm drawn to animals. That must be part of it. Yes, you are very much a part of, what makes you happy, what your true and authentic self is. You work on living your what makes you happy, which is truly part of your desire for things. Like I desired to, when I was young, I desired to see spirit. I started seeing spirit, and that makes me really come into my own. What makes you come into your own? And when you align with that, the vibration goes up. Okay. So it is a real, and to ease resistance. I don't know what kind of resistance that you're talking about, but sometimes we don't have faith, or we limit ourselves as to what we can do. Like the lady was saying before, she wanted to get in touch with her guides. She's already in touch with her guides. She just doesn't realize it, and that feeling of I'm not there or I'm disconnected, that's what's holding her back from having the real connection. I don't know what kind of resistance that you're feeling, but the resistance is not real. Okay. It's
Okay.
a belief that you can't do something. Okay.
Yeah.
And Abraham Hicks talks about swimming downstream, not having resistance, going with the flow. So emotional roller coaster is peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. When you let go of fears and doubts and emotions that are not really you, that you're a beautiful, amazing, tapped in, tuned on being, then that resistance releases. You love yourself and trust that everything is coming to you in right and perfect order. Then you start getting on the universal wave, which is ups and downs, but not peaks and valleys. So start to flow with everything that really resonates with you, Polly. And everything that you resonate with will raise that vibration. Okay. It's not
And
hard, it's not a
it,
job.
do you feel that meditation might be helpful as well? I mean, to
Meditation is extremely helpful because we have a spiritual cord that's attached from the crown to the higher soul,
Mhm.
and we have the incarnated soul. When you do meditation, energy comes down the spiritual cord from the higher soul. It's stepped down because you can't take on that all that divine energy. So it steps down, comes through the spiritual cord, and connects with the incarnated soul. Well, when you meditate, that spiritual cord starts to widen. The more you meditate, the more it stays widened. If you meditate once a month, you're going to widen it and it'll go right back. But if you're meditating once a week, let's just say, then it starts to widen and it stays widened. Okay? And if you meditate twice a week or every day, you take and people think of meditation, I'm going to sit down and be quiet for an hour. That's not necessary. 5 minutes, 10
right.
minutes of quiet time can do just as much as an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
If
think you
you're
find
really
that.
tapped in,
Yeah.
did you say
And I just am agreeing with you. I'm not, I don't feel like I am the perfect example of a great meditator, but I do feel that it helps me tremendously. And when I find that I am not, that I'm getting away from being focused, I have little tricks, like you said, tweak your nose, or in my case, I, maybe this sounds weird to you, but on the back of my horse as a youngster, looking down at the neck of my horse as she's just walking along. And I'm
And
just
that's
concentrating.
perfect. It doesn't matter what brings you back to
Mm-hmm.
center. And
Mm-hmm.
that was something that resonated with you.
Mm-hmm. It's a
So
calm
it can
place.
be
Yeah.
you're sitting with your feet in a spring, a
Yeah.
creek,
Yeah.
or you watch looking at a field full of flowers, or a mountaintop, or a beautiful waterfall. It just brings you back to center, and it keeps you more, focused and quiet, and not having the mindset of, well, I have to do the dishes today, or
Mm-hmm.
take the dog
Right.
for a
The list
walk, or
start to go.
whatever.
Yeah. Brings you back.
Brings you
Yeah.
right back.
I just want to just make a few comments, and then I want to ask you what other people are asking you.
Okay.
If there's wonderful questions here, and I'm hoping we have time to answer, but
Hmm.
we might not. Maybe we have to have another show. Thank you guys for hanging in. I love that you're here. It's just awesome. Tanya says, can you elaborate on how to recognize authentic self? Can you elaborate on
Okay.
how to
So
recognize?
lots of times I say go inside and really feel your like divine spark, that wonderful, and just imagine that you have this you can have a golden uh, fire flame. You can have a divine diamond spark. Go within and connect with that, and then you start to feel who you really are. and and you can even try little things of thinking back of when you changed yourself, or a question, or made yourself be less than for somebody else, and what did you really want to express at that moment and you held back. That's your true authentic self saying, I want to speak up and say this isn't right, or I want to tell my truth. That's as you start to really connect with that true authentic self. What does that true authentic self want? And sometimes you connect to your inner child, because the inner child comes in. The child, as you come into this earth, you're a child and you're completely clean. You don't have all these kind of things. Yes, that's great, Tanya. I'm nestled in a form of oak tree that I climbed in our backyard when I was a child. Okay, what does that feel? And then bring that feeling to the surface and live that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Live that true person. I was afraid myself when I was younger to really show who I was, because my father would say, "Oh, you're not, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something.
Right.
You're
Whatever.
not
Just fill in the
modest
blank.
enough."
Yeah.
That was his thing. You're not modest enough, and this and that. And I was like, so one time I went out, and it was in the 70s, because that'll show my age, but
I know. I
I was a
understand that one.
teenager.
I
I was a
understand.
teenager,
Yeah.
and I had on this little cool outfit that I got, and it had this little skirt that was really like a skirt,
Yep.
and that had the panty kind of things in it. And I bent over in the yard before I got into the car. And my father saw that and he didn't like it. And he told me to go and change. So I went upstairs, I changed, and I stuck my outfit in my purse.
That's
And when I
exactly
got away from home, I put it back on because
right back
that's
on.
who I was and what I wanted to wear.
Right.
And I didn't want to change who I was and what I needed to express at that time. Okay. So that's just kind of an example to show you, you have been, a lot of us have been programmed to be who other people want us to be, or be, some people were, and when they were growing up, they said children are to be seen and not heard, you know, which closed down a lot of people's throat chakra for sure.
Sure.
And now opening up your throat chakra, speaking in truth. It doesn't mean you have to be mean, but when something comes and that is not resonating with you, to say healthy boundaries. That doesn't fly with me. That's your true authentic self. I don't want to do that.
Right. Or
Instead of doing
say just
something that
saying
somebody, go
just
ahead.
saying no. Just saying no without feeling guilty or
Uh-huh.
yeah. And
That's your
just
true authentic self coming out, being who you really are and being proud of it,
yeah,
and
no
being
apologies.
and loving yourself. There's the key to everything. Love
Absolutely.
yourself. And
Yep.
when we go from one reality to the next reality, we love ourselves into it
Yeah,
because
isn't
it
that cool?
changes our consciousness.
Isn't that cool? I mean, so the poor souls that go into the next life not having that feeling about themselves. Do you have any idea of do you have
So
anything to
lots of times they leave the earth and they've had these human experiences. Well, once you leave earth, you leave the body behind and you go back to the higher soul and you
okay.
become all that you can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have a life review. You've
Mm-hmm.
heard that before, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you look and say, oh, that wasn't such a good decision, or I hurt that person that way, or
Right.
I didn't speak up or set healthy boundaries. And then it'll be your decision whether you want to come back or not to
Mhm.
earth. It'll be, but those things you're going to then have had experience of and then kind of transform into a higher vibration. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then the next time, if they decide, the person or the soul decides to come to earth, they may come in as someone like I did, independent the moment you hit the ground. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me what to say. You're not going to tell me how to act. Not going to tell me how to think. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so some of those decisions to do things wasn't so hot, and I
Right.
learned
We
from
all
that.
do. Right. 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 Somebody's
But
asking, these comments are saying are reactions to many of the things that you were talking about at the time you were um speaking about different things. So they might be later on. But one
that's
is
okay.
asking, Maria is asking, do you have classes?
Yes, I do have classes online sometimes, and I'm planning on this year to have more classes, and I want to have, like, Faye has a channel where I come on and people can come on and have spiritual talks.
Mhm.
So I want to get all of that set up this year. Now, the next class that I'm going to be having is through the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light, and it is on February 2nd, and it's a manifestation abundance class.
Oh, wow.
And myself and Reverend Sharon Elizabeth, who's the head reverend there, will be facilitating that class.
And you
So
said that's
if
on Zoom as well? You'll
it
have
will
a
be on Zoom, and you can go through the
oh,
ccosl.com. That is the Cosmic Center of Spiritual Light. To tap into that class, you register. I think it's $40 to join that night, and it's like a 2 hour class.
do you wanna repeat that?
ccosl.com.
CCOSL.com?
Uh-huh.
That's where you go?
You
Okay, so,
Yeah,
do I
go
do
on there, and then you can get on. It'll say events, and you can tap into that evening. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern time. But I also have other classes that I'm planning on getting online. So if you want to be on my email list, then just email me your email
So, should I put
or
up your
text me your email, and I'll put you on my email list.
should I put up your contact information to
Yes,
put
once
okay,
again.
alright.
So you can email me your email list or text it to me, and I'll put you on my newsletter. And I send out, before I have a class, I send out an information about the class, and then you can join.
So maybe, Nancy, if you said that to me, I could also post it on my Facebook page as well.
Okay,
Um,
I will.
I will, anytime you have any classes on Zoom, I will be happy
Mhm.
to put them up on my
Well, thank you
share.
so much. That's lovely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because that class we do on Zoom and in person at the
Okay,
center. So
okay.
I want to get more classes, but I've been so busy since Christmas. I haven't even had time to poke my head up. And this coming weekend, I'll be in Melbourne, Florida, to do a show. Last weekend, I was in St. Pete to
Oh,
do a
wow.
show where I do readings all day long.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you
but
do a lot of stuff. And so when you are at these shows, I mean, because your list is your services that you list on your website, so you have to kind of tune them in to just
when I
handle
do a show, I usually do a reading or a healing for 15 or 30 minutes, and that's it. I
okay,
don't do all the
all
things
of the
that I'm
stuff. They can
capable of
contact you for
doing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
that's
I
what I do. Okay. Are
cool.
there other questions, Faye?
I don't know. I mean, I was going to I just kind of jotted some things down because I took a look at your website again because I'm always inspired by it, by the way. I think I encourage people to take a look at Nancy's website. She also has a couple of meditations on there. So if you're looking to be able to meditate, I saw that one of them was fear about, wasn't it fear? A meditation on
I
fear.
can't remember.
Okay. Well,
You
oh,
know more
it was
about it
on,
right now than I do.
well, maybe, no, one of them was for sure on forgiveness, which is
Yes.
a big deal in order to go anywhere, I think, on our spiritual journey. I am names of people that I had a hard time with in my life, that I need to forgive are now popping up. I mean, I thought I had covered them all, but now they're bubbling up, and I'm
Well,
saying,
this
"Oh,
is what happens when you do a shift in your vibration also. Every time you're ready to jump into a new vibration or to shift into a new vibration, all the stuff that does not work for you or that you have not forgiven will pop up in your head or in front of you.
yeah,
Or the pattern that you don't want to have with somebody, that person will pop up and have the same pattern that you want to get rid of. Anytime you sign up for a class that's going to help you vibrationally shift, all your junk comes flying out of the trunk and stares you in the face, and you think, I thought I did enough forgiveness for that,
I
and it's
know."
still there.
I was kind of proud of myself. I said, "Well, I forgave 3 people." Well, oh, there's a whole lot more. you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is that of course I always felt like I didn't have a part in any of that. Well, I guess I
We all have a
it's,
part of
we have a
everything.
part in it. Mhm.
And sometimes it's just forgiving the people because they are our greatest teachers,
Yeah. And you don't have
you
to
know?
forgive them in person, I've learned. You
No,
can forgive
no, no,
them
no. And I have a
telepathically.
beautiful forgiveness technique. If anybody
Yes, you
wants to get
do.
in touch with me,
Yes, you do.
and I can share that with you, or you can talk to me about it. I am more than willing to give this forgiveness technique because what happens, our souls get chained together, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, for things that we need to forget with that person. And when you do forgiveness, it breaks the chain and the pattern from reoccurring again.
Yeah.
But when I do forgiveness, I tell people, or when I instruct people on how to do forgiveness, I instruct them to do it for 21 days.
Oh,
Why 21? It's the
wow, that's a long
sacred
time.
geometry number of change, changing energy, frequency, patterns, and habits. Once you have unchanged your and done forgiveness, if I look, we have four bodies. We have, excuse me, the mental body, the emotional body, the etheric body, and the physical body. When I look inside that emotional body, I will be able to see that, okay, you need to forgive your sister. Well, I did that. Well, if you did it completely, it would not show up. So there's some emotion still attached
Okay.
to whatever is happening, whatever happened. Once we
Mhm.
have no emotion, and you can say that, and you don't have to keep repeating that story of what happened, because people will get trapped in the story
Exactly.
and they repeat it, they tell it over and over and over and over again.
Mhm.
But once, excuse me,
No worries.
once you have emotional release from it, you could tell that story, but there's no emotion in it.
Mhm.
And it also releases you from everything that's attached to that story. And after a while, you don't have to tell the story.
And it doesn't even
Just like
matter anymore.
I was married, and it won't matter.
It
I
doesn't
was
even
married to
matter.
a man who was very abusive, but I don't sit around telling that story. Okay, that
No.
happened. And
Right.
sometimes I'll say that because people think, well, you're so spiritual. You
Right.
don't understand what
Right.
abuse is like. Oh, yes, I did. I went through it too.
Mhm.
And
So Jana,
usually the people, go ahead.
well, I just before we get too far into forgiveness, Jane Lone brings up a interesting concept. She says that forgiveness is for ourselves, not for others.
You
Yes,
got that right.
it
And
took
in
her a
my
long time to.
forgiveness
Yes,
technique,
I mean we
I
hesitate to forgive because we think, well, we're getting them off the hook. Well, you're getting yourself off
no,
the hook
you're
of reliving.
detaching from it. And it's
Mhm.
blessing your life because you bless their lives when you're doing it. In my
Mhm.
forgiveness technique, it says, I hold you in your highest and best good. In doing so, I hold myself in my highest and best good. You're clearing stuff for yourself so your vibration can zip up to the highest level, and they will feel better too. And
I think
sometimes
so.
I've seen forgiveness heal relationships that were not going to work until that forgiveness came in.
Well, when you start to forgive people as well, I mean, you seem to be in a sort of an ego about it. Like you're right, they're wrong. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong.
No.
It doesn't matter. It was an experience, and you
And
learn
that's the
from it.
ego talking, like you say.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
not
I
the
had to
true,
go through that.
authentic self.
No, No. I mean, so everybody go and there's so many people who go through the same things. One thing that was hard for me to swallow was that somebody who had heard my story maybe too many times, way back when said, well, that happens to a lot of people, Faye. You're not the only one that is going through a divorce. And I'm going, well, that wasn't very nice in my own mind, but it's correct.
It's
You're not the
truth.
only one. You're not the only one who's, abused, was
And
abused.
when that happens, we have to realize that that person is giving us a spiritual lesson, and you
Yeah,
needed it at that moment.
I really did. Because it doesn't matter to other people. I mean, I really had to get that in my head, like, okay, somebody else has got a story too. I'm not the only one who has a story here. And
Mhm.
it's not doing anybody any good, or nor do they really care. Just have to get through
And
it.
the attachment to the story only makes it bigger.
Right. Exactly. You know
So I
what? I
say the three things that you need to do when you want to go to a higher vibration
Mhm.
is empower yourself. Bring your power back. Don't give it up to other people, places, things, or situations. That's an
Okay.
I am affirmation.
Uh-huh.
The second thing is forgiveness. And the
Uh-huh.
third thing is gratitude. The
Yes.
combination of those three things will shift your consciousness, will shift your vibration. It's just amazing. Spirit gave me that combination of those three things, and I'll tell you,
That
I
is
teach it to other
profound.
people.
I really love that. If nothing else is remembered here today, I love what you just said. The 3 things that gives you your power back. Uh, that is that is cool. Thank you, Nancy. Would you repeat
You,
that?
what, honey?
Repeat what you just said about
Okay,
getting your
the
power
three
back.
things when you want to shift your vibration and you want to go to a higher level is empowering yourself. How many times do we give our power away? When you're angry and you stay angry, or when you say that person did this to me, or this person comes along and intimidates you, and you say, okay, here's my power. Basically, you're handing your power over to those situations or that person.
Yep.
So, empowerment. I am affirmation. I am that I am. I'm not my body. I'm not my emotions. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my mind. I am the soul. And that will help. Who was it? I forgot who asked about uh, the true authentic self. You say an I am affirmation, pretty soon you're going to
That was
recognize
Tanya,
I'm the soul.
and it was me
Okay.
too. My first thing on my list. Yes. Mhm.
And then forgiveness is your second thing. Releasing everything. Whatever happened in the past is in the past, and it needs to stay in the past. Like whatever happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Whatever happens in the past stays in the past. It has no relevant, um, anything relevant into your present. Nothing. You can remember wonderful things about the past, but when you're remembering bad things, and bringing it into the present, you're in trouble. So forgive everything.
Right. And then
And
also be
then the last one is gratitude.
yeah.
I keep a gratitude journal. I suggest people do name 10 things that you're grateful for each day. And it can be that the sun is shining, or that it's not as cold, or that you have a shoelace that you can put in your broken shoelace, or you can manifest with gratitude. I'm so grateful that I'm going to receive a new car,
You
you
know,
know.
so I wanna bring up Tanya again, thank you, and Mary also says well, let me just do what Mary said first. Oh, dear Nancy, do you need some
Oh, I had a
water?
cold last week.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Mary says, absolutely, Faye. Her second husband was narcissistic, and memories keep coming up that rekindled the bad memories. I'm having tough time forgetting. I will do Nancy's 20 days. It's 21 days. 21
Yeah.
days, right? Yeah,
And
Mary.
if you send me your email address and send me an email, I will send you the forgiveness technique and the I am affirmation, Mary.
That's awesome. And so Tanya is saying her therapist gave her the mantra, I take my power back. It has been a lifesaver, and
Exactly.
including forgiving ourselves as
That's
well.
right.
Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of those. Okay, I can continue on for just a little longer. We're kind of up to the 5:30 mark. Um, I can handle two more questions. Are you able to stay with us for a minute or two more,
Oh, I'm
Nancy?
fine. Mhm.
Okay. Teresa's asking, Nancy, I'm getting ready to go to court after going on 3 years about the guy who attacked me. I don't know if I can face him. Also, I live in a small town and people are telling me to drop the charges. How do I forgive him? He gave me something that I will always remind me of him.
Teresa, you know what? Give me a call tomorrow, and I want to make sure I get that. I forgot to give you that forgiveness technique, and we'll work on that. Okay, sweetie.
Oh, that's cool. And then um anyway, I think that was the only thing. And Rick, thank you for joining us, but we're going to be leaving in 1 minute here. And yes, we all have to learn these are wonderful things to remember to do. It was great having you on our show. I'll give you pop up this banner again to contact Nancy, look at her website. Please and also I'm going to just kind of give it out to our show. We're going to have Latino Psychic Visions tomorrow night at Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's I co-host with my husband and psychic medium Roger Garza Sr. Also, we have a show on Saturday morning called This Mug's for You, where we'll try to keep it light. Sometimes it gets a little heavy depending on the conversation or the topics covered. But, it has been an awesome evening with you, Nancy, and I hope we have another round. And I encourage people to contact you, and because there are so many things that you can help them with.
Oh,
Also
thank you so
contact
much.
us. We have a phone number that you all can. Oh, whoops, I keep on hitting the wrong thing. Um, our phone number is 715-688-4091. If you would like to reach Roger, he is an awesome psychic medium as well. So,
And he is.
yeah, he kind
How
of is,
bad
isn't
for him.
he? Some of the things that he has told me, I hear from um I hear when I get to talk to wonderful people as yourself, and they pick up stuff from me, and start to read stuff from me. It kind of confirms some of the stuff that Roger already told me, and so I'm blown away. I continually get blown away.
Confirmation.
It's all confirmation.
Like I say, we
Almost.
tap into the same vibrational thing, so we're bringing the same things in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
ready for you. You know,
Yeah.
like Roger will give you something, and I come in and give you the same thing because we're both tapped into the same
You're
thing.
tapped into the same thing. You
Hmm.
really are. And it's just amazing to me. But I'm going to say good night, folks. Thank you for
Good
joining
night.
us.
Namaste to all of you.
We love you,
Blessings to
Nancy.
you. Love you so much, Faye.
I love
And
you too, and we'll talk. I want to see you personally myself. I know you can help me with something, so I'm going to
okay.
have to run tonight. I will talk to you another time. I'm going to give you a phone call, Nancy, in the near
Okay, love.
future. Okay.
Okay.
You have a wonderful evening, Nancy. Everyone here who
You
has
too,
joined us,
sweetie.
please have a wonderful evening, and we love you and we bless you, and awesome. Thank you. Good night.
Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, there he
Bye,
is.
Roger.
He's jealous he can't talk to you.
You tell him we'll have a private conversation.
Okay, okay. Okay, love you. See you soon,
Love you
okay?
too, darling. Take care.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.